Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new Spider-Man 3 Marvel video. Tom Holland was giving us all kinds of information and details about what's going on with the movie, the Venom crossover, and Marvel's Sinister 6 movie that they're getting ready to do. There's even a brand new Spider-Man spin-off movie that they're developing that I'll talk about. There's a bunch of Easter eggs. I'll also explain what's going on with all the delays that just got announced. There's a bunch of movies and TV shows that were delayed this week because of all the craziness. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will keep doing updates as things change the next couple of weeks. It might get a little crazy in the next couple of weeks, but it's not quite as bad as it seems. I was doing a movie ticket giveaway, but because of all the theater closings and cancellations, we'll turn that into an Amazon giveaway for now. All you have to do to enter that is just be a subscriber and leave all your theories about Spider-Man 3 on the video. So we'll just break this down top 5 style. Starting with number 5, Tom Holland is still out promoting his new Pixar movie with Star-Lord Chris Pratt. They released the movie before everyone started delaying their movies, so of course it's still out in theaters, they still have to promote it. Of course everyone doing interviews is asking him Spider-Man questions, so that's where all this Spider-Man 3, Venom crossover, Sinister 6 stuff comes from, and the Spider-Man spin-off movie. The really good news is that Tom Holland said that Spider-Man 3 has not been delayed. They're still filming the movie starting in July. It's on the same schedule as they were for the production of Spider-Man Far From Home. Tom Holland even talked about the story, the script, obviously the big Sinister 6 characters that were coming back in some form. Thankfully, Marvel's snipers did not take him out on the spot. And when I say Sinister 6 characters appearing during Spider-Man 3, technically all the Spider-Man Marvel movies have always had characters who were part of the comic book Sinister 6 team like Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio during Spider-Man Far From Home. But Marvel and Sony only started specifically talking about their Sinister 6 plans and Venom crossover plans recently.
Marvel Studios is excited to show you what comes next.
You're gonna love this. These villains that we now have in our universe happen to be characters that are in the Sinister Six. There may be something that happens with that.
No matter where he goes, the world is going to be different for him.
Here's the real blockbuster. Brace yourselves, you might want to sit down.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
What the f?
No more hiding. Yeah, no more hiding.
There's a difference in doing Sinister 6 Easter eggs and references to Spider-Man comic book moments, then coming right out and saying, yes, we are definitely going to make a Sinister 6 movie with these characters that you keep seeing in all these movies. Number 4, when Tom Holland was talking about the story and the script for Spider-Man 3, he said it was a way bigger movie than Spider-Man Far From Home, so they just keep getting bigger and bigger with the movies, pretty standard fare, even though Spider-Man is going to be on the run, John Wick 3 style, from everyone hunting him. J. Jonah Jameson, thedailybugle.net, putting him on blast, all the different Sinister 6 characters that are coming back, Thunderbolt Ross, the World Security Council, and the US government. Right now, there's still only going to be one real big main villain though, which is tradition with the MCU Spider-Man movies. That's the big difference in the modern era Spider-Man from Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. But there are going to be cameos and references to all the future Venom crossover and Sinister 6 movies and Spider-Man 4. Yes, there is a Spider-Man 4 that Sony is planning on making with Tom Holland. Recently, I also just did a video about Sony confirming that they are planning on re-signing the sharing deal with Marvel, so Spider-Man 4 will also be a Marvel movie, but obviously they haven't re-signed the deal yet. That won't happen until after they get done making Spider-Man 3 in another big Spider-Man crossover movie. And while Tom Holland was talking about all the Spider-Man 3 stuff, he interestingly revealed that he doesn't know what the big crossover movie that he's going to be doing at Marvel is going to be. That's going to happen after Spider-Man 3, before Spider-Man 4. We're at the point with Tom Holland now where Marvel knows that he's going to leak anything that they give him, so they just wait to tell him things until they want it to be leaked.
Oh, goodness. My favorite one, probably Carnage one day.
Carnage?
He's so cool.
And what about Venom? Like a transition into Carnage?
Are you trying to get a scoop out of me?
Maybe.
Out of the...
I'm not involved in that at all. I actually... Oh, no, I can't say that. Whoops.
Thankfully, Marvel is not pulling a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 with their Spider-Man 3 or an Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 2 situation. What happened during those movies, as you all remember, is that Sony, when they were making them on their own, were so thirsty to set up sequels and spin-offs that they crammed way too many villains into each movie and hijacked the core Spider-Man story of each of those movies, spending way too much time doing full-blown origin stories for all the different villains and side characters. When the big Sony hack happened a couple years ago, it revealed some of Kevin Feige's advice that he gave to the Sony people when they were making Amazing Spider-Man 2. One of his biggest pieces of advice to them was that he told them that they didn't need to do full-blown origin stories for each of the villains inside Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, you can save this for another movie. You don't need to give this character all these other scenes and backstory. That's why Marvel's been taking it so slow with the Sinister Six setup stuff in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, in the actual Spider-Man Venom crossover. It's been 4 years since Tom Holland started playing Spider-Man, and we're only just starting to hear about their plans for big Venom crossover and Sinister Six stuff, and we won't even see those movies for a couple more years. Speaking of which, number 3, Sony just announced a new live-action Spider-Man spin-off movie, a big Spider-Man spin-off movie. Roberto Orci, who had previously worked for Sony on their main Spider-Man movies before they rebooted the franchise with Tom Holland and Marvel in the MCU, is working on their new big Spider-Man spin-off movie. Since it's Sony that made the announcement, they're developing it, not Marvel. The top picks for what that spin-off movie are going to be are an actual Spider-Man vs. the Sinister Six movie. Roberto Orci is actually a pretty big name in Hollywood, so he wouldn't do like a really small, tiny film. Whatever this is going to be, it's going to be a big Spider-Man movie. The other top picks are big spin-off movies for new Sinister Six characters like Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, or Dr. Octopus, because Dr. Octopus is OG Sinister Six, and we don't have a version of him anywhere in the Sony Venomverse or the Marvel MCU yet. Or he could also be working on their full-blown Spider-Man vs. Venom movie. They just announced they started development on it right now. The delays aren't affecting it, so it will probably be released around 2022 or 2023, just depending on how long it takes to finish the first script. Sony cranks out their Spider-Man movies and their Venom movies way faster than Marvel does, so everyone just post your theories in the comments about what you think the new big Spider-Man spin-off movie is going to be. Number 2, because of the big updated Marvel-Sony sharing deal with Spider-Man, Marvel also just announced that Tom Holland is going to be filming a bunch of new MCU Spider-Man stuff for their new Avengers Campus events. If you don't know what that is, that's a big thing for people traveling to Disneyland, Disney World. They film a bunch of new MCU material and turn it into a big event series within the MCU. But you physically have to travel there to experience it. All the movies and the little clips and stuff that they film, that only happens at Disneyland and Disney World. They're going to have a bunch of new Spider-Man suits. They're going to debut a bunch of new Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man stuff with new Iron Man suits, a bunch of new Doctor Strange stuff. So if you're a big fan of going to those live events and things like that, there's going to be a bunch of new canon MCU stuff happening during that. It won't get started till the end of July, around the time that they release the Morbius movie after Comic-Con, and currently none of the delays are affecting any of that stuff. The only stuff that's being delayed in Hollywood, the big movies, TV shows, is stuff that's happening right now. Anything that's happening during the summer or later is probably going to be fine. So number 1, the current state of the full-blown Spider-Man Venom crossover movie is that it's still a couple years off, but as you saw during the Morbius trailer, and we'll see when we get the Venom 2 trailer soon, there's still a lot of Spider-Man stuff happening inside the Venomverse spin-off movies. Spider-Man images and references showing up, side characters like the Vulture having full-blown cameos. It's going to be like that for the next couple of movies that involve Spider-Man and Spider-Man-related characters like Venom, Morbius, the other Sinister Six characters. The only reason why they haven't released the Venom 2 trailer right now is just because of all the craziness right now, and because the Bloodshot movie just is not doing well critically or at the box office. They're also using this extra time to polish the special effects on Venom and Carnage before they actually start showing people footage. They're using Venom 2 as a little bit of a soft reboot of the franchise, just because they ran into some production issues on the first movie, and it was before they'd figured out what they were going to do with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in future Venom movies. Now that that's all figured out, they can have way more fun. So just expect that first Venom 2 trailer in the next 4 weeks or so, depending on how crazy stuff gets the next couple of weeks. As of right now, in terms of delays and cancellations, Black Widow has not been delayed. It's still coming out at the beginning of May, but if they do wind up delaying it, it'll probably come out in July because it sets up a lot of stuff that goes on during Falcon and Winter Soldier and Marvel Phase 4, so they can't release Black Widow after they release the Marvel Phase 4 series, and Eternals is still coming out in November. That also has to happen after Black Widow. But I will do update videos if we get more delays on stuff. So don't worry about too much of that right now, but everyone click here for that brand new Marvel Falcon and Winter Soldier teaser video, and click here for the new Boys Season 2 trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.